Welcome to another edition of the Baer Facts. I'm Kyle Lacey in Los Angeles, California, coming to you from the JW Marriott, and there's Jay Baer over there coming to you from Bloomington. I like that shirt, Jay.
Thanks. I'm actually coming your direction. I'm leaving for Napa in the morning, so I will. I'll just miss you.
Well, Napa Valley is much better than LA, I'm gonna have to say.
Depends on where you're at in LA, but I'm not complaining about this week's speaking assignment.
That's true. I wouldn't either. Okay, so today's topic of conversation is what Google is calling Project Loon, and
Loon.
that's Loon. Which once we describe it, you'll understand why it's called Project Loon because it's basically just cutting the word in half. It's very creative, actually. Google is actually testing these balloons, and this is about as far as I'm going to get in terms of scientific description for you. They're testing these balloons to go over the world, over remote areas that basically emit Wi-Fi signal for people in developing countries that don't have the infrastructure for fiber optics or what we have that allows us to get internet. It's basically these balloons are going to be floating everywhere with internet just emitting from them. Great idea, good play in terms of, let's get everybody on the internet, more people, more money, right? More power, blah, 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 blah. Jay, what do you think?
I think it's very interesting on a number of fronts. First, I think the technology of hey, let's grant internet access via hot air balloon. It's not really a hot air balloon, but via a balloon is a pretty interesting technical concept. Certainly, when you think about Google and the fact that they are relatively ubiquitous now in your heavy internet using countries, you start to look farther out. Like, well, where's their growth going to come from? Right? It's not going to be convincing, the Amish to get on Google, right? There's got to be a bigger play there. And so
Right.
it's the same reason why Facebook has put a lot of time and effort to their credit in trying to get the developing world internet access as well. Obviously, they're doing that partially because it helps ensure that they've got future people to work with. But you have to understand that we are going to be in a place really soon. We actually are really already there, where the biggest difference in success and life in this world is going to be fresh water, food, and internet access in
Right.
that order, right? And it's it's not about broadband versus non-broadband. It's just about being plugged into the global economy at all or not. And so I absolutely commend those guys. In fact, I was here in Bloomington on Saturday. There was a conference called the Combine that we have every year. It's a technology and entrepreneurship conference we do here in Bloomington. I was the MC of that event, and I got to interview Jimmy Wales, who's the founder of Wikipedia, which is a
Yeah.
real thrill, great guy. And he was talking about this project that they have called Wikipedia Zero, which is really, it reminded me of Google's Loon project, where what they do is Wikipedia goes around to the cell phone carriers, the telcos, in sort of the developing world and say, look, what we want you to do is give people access to Wikipedia with no bandwidth charges. Because in a lot of places, even
Yeah.
if you have, like let's say you're in an urban environment in the developing world, so you have cell phones, but the bandwidth charges are pretty steep, right? So it depresses internet usage. So their case is, look, Wikipedia is not the same as going to funnyordie.com or something, right? That there is a greater good there. And it's amazing. They've convinced all these telcos to get behind that program. And he showed this very compelling video. I mean, people were bawling, including me, of these kids, these high school kids in this very, very, very impoverished part of Africa who Wikipedia is their library. I mean, literally, that's it. They have no books. They have no library. Wikipedia and their cell phone is the library for this school, and now that's free. It was really amazing. I think it all fits together. That it's easy for us to get caught in our bubble of, hey, I get high speed internet access like out of this pen, right? I mean, I'm so wired. I have to have a commercial router in my house because between me and my kids, the guy came over. This is a true story. I was bitching because my Wi-Fi wasn't fast enough. So I called my local company. They're like, "Yeah, it's not us. It's something. It's something in the house, right?" So we had a guy come over and was like, "Hey, man, I did a diagnostic here. You have 35 devices connected to your Wi-Fi right now. 35 devices in my house." So to think about a circumstance where you would need a balloon in the sky to get a slow internet connection really blows me away. Thank God that Google and Facebook and Jimmy Wales and Wikipedia are thinking down the road, because people like me wouldn't do it.
Amen. It's another edition of Baer Facts. Thanks, Jay.
Ooh, balloon.